how much of what's going on with the front office of the Houston Astros and the debacle that was created by the front office and their reaction over the last several days, and then the press conference yesterday with Jeff Luhnow, who just kept digging even deeper, it felt to me, based on the way I was watching it. Is that possibly affecting anything that's going on the field, do you think, Tom?
I don't know that it's affected anything on the field, Rich, but it has affected the vibe around the team. In other words, once the game starts, I'm not sure it does matter. But having to answer questions as the manager had to do, which was really he was put in a terrible situation, A.J. Hinch, after that first press release the team put out of trying to pick up some pieces. But it's just created a bad vibe around the team where these questions and issues, are still out there because of the way they flat out have mishandled this. Calling a report misleading and fabricated from the start when they really didn't have all the information. It was really bad. I mean, they wound up doing the right thing, but I do think once you win the American League pennant on a walk-off home run by Jose Altuve, who's like, rainbows and sunshine. I mean, you can't find a guy who can put a better smile on your face every day than Altuve. And that became the narrative for the next 48 hours. So, yeah, the vibe around the team is bad. I don't want to take anything away from the Nats because they've been that good.
Right.
But it certainly didn't help the environment around the team preparing for the World Series.
Well, I mean, and for your colleague at Sports Illustrated and Stephanie Apstein to be accused of fabricating something and making stuff up, and it was just so virulent, the first statement that Luhnow has now said that he was aware of, but he wouldn't say who wrote it and who generally approved of it going out. And then for him to be asked about whether he had apologized to her yet, he said he was busy flying, hadn't had the time. She was in the room when he said
right there
when he said that.
I mean, it's just
what?
Listen,
Right?
it all begins with Taubman, right? He's the one who has to take responsibility. His actions created this mess, but the fact that they totally mishandled it from the get-go is something that's systematic in the organization. And Jeff does have to answer for that as well, because certainly multiple sets of eyes looked at that statement before it went out. And that was your first reaction to something, to go attack the people who actually witnessed it. So, yeah, it's not just on Taubman. It became institutional in terms of the way the Astros handled that. And, Jeff clearly was 100% uncomfortable with that, even yesterday. Pick up the phone. You have to call up Stephanie. Make it your priority to take 5 minutes out of your day, to express a personal apology, and it still hasn't happened.
Well, I mean, and then, the player's obviously still there, and he's not the only one with a history of this stuff. Do you think that this might change the way that teams actually employ players with this history, like Osuna, and obviously the Yankees with their closer and Chapman having a history of this? Do you think this might change anything, Tom?
I'd like to say yes, but it still comes down to talent. The better players are going to get more leeway on issues like this. If he is a fringe player, a minor league player, and the Astros have actually done this with a minor league player where there was a domestic violence incident. Actually, it was on video, and they just released the player. But if you're talking about a guy now as the closer on a team trying to win the World Series,
right,
that unfortunately, I think the answer is no, it's not going to change.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.